does coffee come from Ethiopia?
I mean, there's a running debate. Lots of different countries have this view. Well, not that many actually. We've got Ethiopia and we've got Yemen, and they both got this running debate as to where does coffee come from. If we look at pollen and pollen spores, we can see that Arabica, which is a child of Robusta and another coffee that we don't really drink called Jujunites. These two came together in the south of Sudan, so it's really close to the Ethiopian border. So pretty certain that Ethiopia is right.
Why is it called Arabica when it's from Ethiopia?
Yemen was the first country to commercialize coffee, and it was called the Arabian Peninsula back then. And Linnaeus, famous Swede, was down in Yemen or the Arabian Peninsula. Yeah, I hope so. Yeah. And he found this. He found coffee. Obviously, he had a cup, I imagine, and the local people said, it's from here. So he said, oh, let's call it Coffee Arabica then. So that's where the name comes from.
Okay, so you said that coffee beans grow along the equator. What countries are the biggest producers of coffee beans?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. So the biggest producer of coffee beans in the world by a long, long, long way is Brazil.
Brazil.
Yeah, the world's garden. I mean, they're huge producers of coffee and soya and sugar and everything else. They're really good at gardening now. So Brazil is number one. Then number two, we're going to go all the way to Vietnam. Vietnam's a really exciting coffee country because they've gone from really zero to hero. If you go back 30 years, there was almost no coffee at all in Vietnam, and now it's the second largest producer in the world. And then number three, we're going to go back to Latin America, to Colombia.
So you talked about Arabica. What other types are there?
So, I mean, the two biggest ones that we drink here in Europe anyway are Arabica and we've got Robusta. I mean, Arabica is, the pretty poster boy for coffee. It's the one that everyone talks about. You see lots of posters everywhere with 100% Arabica. It's great. Robusta is often seen as this kind of ugly cousin to Arabica. Robusta is, as I said, Arabica's father, really. Robusta, together with this other variety called Jujunites, they came together in the south of Sudan and they made Arabica. So we can call it dad as opposed to ugly cousin. Robusta is often a little less sweet. It's maybe a little more bitter, but a much thicker body, much more mouthfeel in the cup. So for some people, that authentic Italian, thick, heavy, lots of crema, Robusta's perfect for that.
Whereas I reckon you like that one better.
I'm an Arabica lover.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely.
Me too.
Yeah.
Most people like Arabica.
Here in Scandinavia, most people think that they like Arabica anyway.
But they maybe haven't tried.
Yeah, they maybe not given Robusta a good enough chance. A little bit of Robusta for some people can be really, really great, just to get that slightly better body, better, more creamy cup.
Yeah, it's all about the mixture, right?
Yeah. And as I say, if you go to the south of Italy, 100% Arabica, that's ridiculous as a concept. You've got to have a bit of Robusta, otherwise it's not real coffee. For those caffeine addicts, Robusta's great because it's got nearly twice the amount of caffeine as Arabica does, which is one of the reasons it's called Robusta.
That's what we need in the Nordic countries.
Right? Something to get us up in the morning.
Especially in the winter.
So Robusta is a much more robust plant. It can grow in countries where you can't really grow Arabica. Robusta is growing a little bit further north, above the tropics, and a little further south, but Arabica is really sensitive to frost, and since we're growing it quite high up in the mountains, frost will really kill the crop, and you won't get any crop for a couple of years after if your trees get damaged by frost. So we have to keep it quite close to the equator. With Arabica, we've got nice curved ends to the coffee, whereas with Robusta we've got almost pointy ends to the coffee bean. Also, the line in the middle of Robusta is often much straighter, whereas the line in Arabica can curve a little bit. So that's a good way to see from a hand full of coffee, is this Robusta or is this Arabica? And then you should be able to taste it later as well. Robusta is really good if you want a thick crema. You get a much better crema from Robusta.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I've heard about Liberica. What is that?
So, I mean, we've got Arabica and we've got Robusta, and that's, 99% of every cup of coffee that's being drunk around the world.
Yeah.
But there's a small percentage of local coffee, often only drunk in coffee-producing countries, called Liberica.
What does it taste like? If you compare to Arabica and Robusta?
Yeah, so I think that I've never really had it produced in where the process has been refined enough to get a good quality. So normally it tastes like compost, it's that kind of flavor. Really nothing that works for me. But maybe there are some producers around the world that are really working on improving the quality. They're working on the processing after they've picked it.
But you said 1% is Liberica.
Yeah. So
there must be some coffee somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, mostly it's consumed in producing countries. It doesn't really leave the country where it's being grown. Yeah.